Oh, I completely ripped off and duplicated somebody else's reel and I went viral. I mean, there's no...
Tell us about that.
Okay.
What happened?
One of my biggest idols is Thatch Nguyen. Okay. And he did this one video and he kept doing it because it went viral. So I said, I'm going to try exactly what he did. Like literally verbatim. Don't buy this, buy this. I gained 50,000 followers overnight just like that.
And you did that around houses, right? Like
around houses,
you said, don't buy this house, buy this house.
Buy that house.
John, thank you so much for joining us today. I've been so excited to have this conversation with you. I think you are a great marketer, and I think we don't talk about that very often. So do you consider yourself a marketer?
I've declared myself as a marketer now. Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
But I was a grinder to start. I was a prospector. I was a salesperson.
Yes.
But through me working hard, grinding out there in the marketplace, I actually started to build a brand inadvertently as the hardest working guy in Vancouver. Then I started to really build on that. And then I started obviously using all the social channels to really expand that brand. But now I am, because now almost 20 years in real estate, my business is now more marketing-based, prospecting enhanced. The agents
I like that.
on the
Marketing-based, prospecting enhanced.
Yes.
Okay, tell us more about that.
I think if you have a database, you got to start to market to that. And then once the leads come in, that's where the prospecting begins. The problem is today, agents either do A or B, or you got to do both. When I was first starting out, it was prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Now it's switched to here because I have a little bit more revenues and marketing dollars to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. And you mentioned, like, when you started out, you were very much about the grind, right? I got to grind 7 days a week. I like transactional based, and you went through sort of a mindset pivot of how you thought about your business. And branding became an important part of that, sort of that pivot moving forward. And I think a lot of agents struggle with, how do I brand myself? And how do I find that, like, what makes me special, and then convert that into my brand and my business? So for you, what was that journey like of discovering that you are a brand?
Yeah. So when people started calling me one thing, and then I started to inadvertently brand myself as, I have a book called How to Be a Beast. Then I just started to expand on that brand. I just, out of nowhere, one day, I just yelled on stage, I'm a beast. And that became my brand accidentally.
Right.
But I started to expand it through all the social channels. And for me, that was authentic.
At that time.
At that time.
Right.
And so if you want to market yourself, if you want to brand yourself, don't think of it as such a overwhelming thing. Because at the end of the day, it's all about authenticity. And if you're authentic, you're going to attract your tribe, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So if you are not yourself, you're going to attract not who you are, but who you pretend to be. And that never works, right? So I'm just being myself and then expanding that through all the social channels. I don't complicate it. But here's the thing. I hire people, my who's, to expand my marketing. I'm not the marketer. Again, I'm the grinder. I'm the guy in front of the camera, but I hire it out, just like we have Blend of Sense.
Right. So who are the who's that you have sort of built around you? Like, I'm thinking of function. Like, what are those functions, those people?
Yeah. So I have my integrator. So I'm the visionary.
Yeah.
I've been blessed enough to have enough revenues to expand my team to where I'm the visionary, the CEO of the team, the line group. And then I have Axel, who's the integrator. Now, Axel does everything. The man's absolute genius. He does systems, he does marketing, and he trains the agents. And then we have Bonnie and Michael, who are supporting Axel and supporting myself. Bonnie actually was the one who was instrumental in coming up with the name Align, right? So it all happened naturally. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, let's hire somebody to do this whole marketing campaign. It was all masterminding and picking the right who's in place.
And when you go back in time, because a lot of people listening are not going to be maybe at the stage where they've got the who's. What advice do you give to those people who are starting to think about building their brand and leaning into, marketing as a tool? What should they be thinking about first?
I think if you're selling real estate at a high level right now, what I didn't do, and I would advise that younger agents do, is niche down. Niche down on a type of property, niche down on a specific area. And that then becomes your brand. And then the next is be yourself, right? So if I'm the local expert in Yaletown, I'm going to be the best local expert in Yaletown. And something will come from that as you become your authentic self. You'll have another name, you'll have another brand that comes from that, but you have to choose first. Once you chose that, once you've chosen that, then you can expand on it.
I love that. It's an evolution, right?
It's an evolution,
Changes.
but I think it has to come naturally.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you can act as somebody else for a very long time.
Yeah.
No. And I think at some point I probably would make that mistake in my younger days to try to be somebody else. And then all of a sudden I'm like, no, this is not me.
Yes.
Because people would be like, oh, you know what? I think you should be playing golf. I think that looks like your brand. And then I wanted to play golf. No, that's not me. Then I just started to say, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do in the business. I'm going to be who I want to be in the business because this platform here, you can express yourself fully.
Right.
So I'm fully myself authentically in front of the camera, and that's my brand.
Yes.
And
that's your X factor, right? Like that's that secret sauce that we all have that can't be replicated is our own personalities, our own authenticity.
Everybody's unique. Nobody's exactly the same. And you have to be okay with that. And that's great because nobody can be like you, even if they try.
Yes, so true. So social media, in particular, Instagram, TikTok, sort of the visual, vehicles on social that are so popular, have been such a great tool to have that authenticity show to the world. And you have built an incredible following on social media. How much of that was strategy versus it happened? How do you think about that today in your business as a tool?
Oh, I completely ripped off and duplicated somebody else's reel and I went viral. I mean, there's no...
Tell us about that.
Okay.
What happened?
One of my biggest idols is Thatch Nguyen. Okay. And he did this one video and he kept doing it because it went viral. So I said, I'm going to try exactly what he did. Like literally verbatim. Don't buy this, buy this. I gained 50,000 followers overnight just like that.
And you did that around houses, right? Like you said, don't buy this house, buy this house.
Buy that house. And then it was like, don't buy this car, buy this condo. And I kept doing that.
What were some other things that you did? So don't buy the car, buy the condo.
And then I started copying other funny videos, other viral stuff. If you look on Instagram, you start to see what goes viral, then just copy exactly that. And sometimes from doing that, you'll start to have your own inspiration of what you want to do. Recently, it's all about viral videos. But once you have the viral videos, you get the eyes on you. Once you have the eyes on you, then you can start to talk about real estate. But if you keep talking about real estate, everybody's going to tune out. Just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold. Nobody cares about that anymore. But if you have some viral stuff that's actually valuable, people follow you, then they say, oh, well, John's a real estate agent. Just last week, I haven't really counted, but last week I had 3 come list me calls just from Instagram.
Just from Instagram?
Just from Instagram.
That's incredible. I mean, I think that's what anyone listening, right? Like that's what you hope to aspire. That's the power of using that medium as a marketing tool.
I'll say one more thing. Here's the thing. Like most of my posts are garbage. Absolute garbage. Okay, and you have to be okay with that. Oh my gosh, 100 views? Nobody's looking at that, but somebody is. That's 100 people. Right? I've put out 5,000 plus posts, and out of which are 2,500 reels. And at one point from 2021 to 2022, it was 2 reels a day. I just went ham like I did my prospecting.
Yes.
Nobody out prospected me in my marketplace. And now nobody does more videos than me. I'm not that good. I'm just consistent.
Yes.
More consistent than everybody else.
I love it. So today, how do you think about that? How do you think about creating content to go out on social? Is it a plan? Like, you mentioned that you were doing, at one point you were doing 2 a day. Like, are you thinking I got to do 1 video a day? I got to do 5 a week? Are you pre-planning them? Like, how do you work that into everything else that you do running your business?
Yeah, I batch my content. So every week I have my content guys come over. Once for training videos and the other one for viral videos. It would just come over to my house and shoot. And we post once a day.
Okay.
So 7 days a week, there's a reel going out. And then during the week, we have just listed, just sold posts. And a lot of agents actually collaborate their videos with me. So I have even more reels on top of that. Yeah.
Okay. So your viral video, call it pillar of your content. Are you watching sort of what is trending and then sort of ideating off of that and saying, here's what I can do?
Exactly.
Okay.
None of my videos that you see on Instagram, most of them are not original. Okay.
I think that is such a great like takeaway that I hope that people listening will say, yes, I get it, right? Is like, I can just look at something that somebody else did.
Yes.
And borrow that idea, rip off and duplicate.
Yeah, rip off and duplicate. And obviously I hired a company and these guys were brilliant. We've been working together for 4 years now, Click Dreams, and they really put me on the map. I would have never thought to rip off and duplicate. They actually said, you know what, since you like Thatch, why don't we try some of this stuff? And then we went on to other stuff. The cold calling reels were a viral hack. Every cold calling reel was 20, 30,000 followers. That's how I got to 200,000. It wasn't, one day.
Yes.
It took from 26,000 to 214 right now. It took 4 years. Right.
Yeah, to get there. But I mean, that's tremendous reach and growth to end up with a result of 3 come list me calls, right? Like,
yeah,
that's
and most of my content is actually geared towards agent attraction because that's the stage I'm at right now. It's more so recruiting, training, mentorship. I've actually been able to attract 37 agents directly to my tier 1, right? So if I did more real estate content, walk through homes, I probably would get even more come list me calls.
Right. That's great. What are you watching right now? Are there any trends in social content that you're kind of watching that you think are interesting?
Always look for viral real estate content, realtor content.
Okay, realtor specific.
Realtor specific content. If I've found that the stuff that I love to do are the videos with my wife.
Okay.
Lots of views, lots of eyes, not a lot of follows.
Yes.
But real estate specific content, lots of eyes and a lot of follows. Yeah. That's what I see in the insights, right?
Yeah.
But I love doing the couple stuff. It just, it makes me happy doing it.
Yes.
And again, like, you gotta have fun. If it ain't fun, don't do it.
Right.
Right.
And I love how you share your whole life with us through social, not just the real estate part of it or not just certain parts of your business, but we see your family and your wife and just all the things that you're experiencing life, right? Like we see that. And I think that's such an important connection for your clients, right? And potential clients, because we feel like we know you.
Yeah. You have to be yourself and you have to show that you're a human being. In the age of AI, social media, if you become too robotic, you're just a commodity.
Yeah.
They want a relationship. This is a relationship business and not a transactional business. So if you can build a relationship being who you are and being authentic and really connecting with your target audience, then once they meet me, I go out to any convention right now. People are like, hey, I've seen you. I feel like they know me already.
Yes, we do feel that. Yeah. Now, you've been through, I think, just the ebbs and flows of careers that we all go through. Yeah. And you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation that there was a time where you were like up and grind, right? Like 5 a.m., I'm grinding 7 days a week. There was not sort of balance there. And you recognize, like, I got to make some pivots here if I want a different sort of life. So, share with us for anyone that might be feeling that way in their business right now of like, oh, the grind is killing me. How do you start to move to a different space that you're just enjoying the business sort of more holistically?
You have to get over yourself.
You have to get over
You
yourself.
have to get over yourself, because what I mean by that is that if you think you're the best at doing everything, you're probably wrong. And even if you are, you shouldn't, because that's how I ran myself to the ground. 7 days a week, 12, 14-hour days, 10 years straight. I should have leveraged a lot faster. I should have hired my first assistant a lot faster.
I think that notion of leverage is so key. You have to be able to leverage yourself.
Yeah, 100%. And I just read the book Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. This one thing really hit me. 80% done by somebody else is 100% good for me.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And right now, when I look at other people's work, I'm like, oh, I don't really like it. I don't really like what you're doing. But then I'm like, do I want to touch it? Do I want to take it back and do it myself? No. Let's just move forward with our projects.
Yes.
And then sure enough, it worked out great.
Yeah, we get so lost in that, like there's a saying of going from like 80% to 100% is where like time and opportunity is lost.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's at 80%, right?
Stealing that.
You're stealing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Time and opportunity is lost. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So what's a typical day look like for you now?
Right now, I mean, I still wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I do my mindset work. For any real estate agent that's out there right now, you got to do your mindset work on a daily basis. It's like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, because your stinking thinking needs some washing. Okay.
I'm going to steal that.
Okay. So I wake up, silence, sit in silence. I do my affirmations, program my mind. I visualize my outcome. And then I go into exercise for about an hour and a half, come back. I would read 10 pages of a book, and then I would scribe. So journal.
Yeah.
All my thoughts on paper.
Old-fashioned paper, pen.
Old-fashioned paper.
I'm such a tactile person. I love my notebooks.
It does something to your brain. It's dopamine, right?
Yeah.
And you get endorphins from that, actually. Once you complete that, then you feel good about yourself. By 7:30, my mindset is already in motion, momentum, on fire. Then I can go do my first Zoom call is about 7 o'clock, right? And then I go all the way through to noon. Now, because I have leveraged my team, I keep half of my day open. From noon onwards, it's appointments open for people who want to book me. I learned this from Patrick and Glenn. They leave 60% of their schedule open or else you're not available for people.
Right.
My schedule used to be from 4:30 all the way to 4:30. It was packed. But then when people wanted to call me, I wasn't available for them. But lucky enough, I delegated to Axel, Michael, Bonnie that I keep it open so people can reach me. And that's where true growth actually happens. And that's where creativity happens. And that's how you can scale your business even more. If you're constantly working in the business, you can't work on the business.
Yes. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and share this with you. You've given us so many great nuggets that I know that the people listening are going to start monitoring those viral real estate videos, and then they're just going to rip off and duplicate and get that social content out there consistently.
Absolutely.
And the riches are in the niches.
That's right. That's right. Niche down.
Niche down. Thank you so much.
That's American
Your time.
niche.
That's true. It's Canadian American. Yes. It's like process.
That's right. That's right. Tomato. All right. Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
being here, John.
Appreciate you.